Welcome viewers, this is Winch here, although today you can call me Morpheus. Do you want to play a game? In a moment I'm going to ask you to pick a number between 1 and 10, and I'll count down from 5, and then I'll ask you if you've noted your number. Alright, are you ready? Pretty simple, right? Don't make it an easy number like number 7, unless you want to. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, do you have your number? Do you have it in mind? Your number is 9. Is it 9? Well, how did I guess that? Well, if it wasn't 9, guys, was it either the number 8 or was it the number 6? If it's one of those three numbers, I got you. What's up? Today's lesson, guys, I want to talk about is player predictability, and basically the topic I want to discuss, and I'm going to further elaborate on it in my future videos, is how to predict your enemy players or your enemy combatants' movements. And in that example, I was trying to guess your number. I don't know if maybe some of you picked up on it. What I was trying to do is subtly steer you in a direction and limit your options. Obviously, I can't read your mind and pick your number every time. But what I can do is present you with a set of circumstances and try to funnel your thought process into a path in which I can predict. Now, and how I did that in the first example was trying to do is kind of plant in your mind the image of the numbers 1 through 10 and counting down from 5 to 1 and saying don't pick 7. Subtly, what I've kind of done is basically I've already said or shown you the numbers 1, 10, 5 through 1, and then I said the number 7. So the only numbers I didn't mention were 9, 8, and 6. So if you're trying to kind of play reverse psychology here with me, we're kind of doing a mental joust, you might try to pick a number which you either indirectly or directly did not observe or pick up on and try to guess a number that I didn't mention. It's kind of my rationale on the whole thing. Maybe it didn't work, maybe it did. For those of you that did pick 9, I bet that blew your mind there for a moment when you saw that. But well, that's kind of the mindset that I get to, is by presenting the numbers and counting it down. This can translate into your Battlefield 3 gameplay. And what I'm trying to show you in some clips is situations where I kind of force the team into moving in a path or a corridor or predicting a movement based on circumstances that I create in the match. And a lot of you kind of think maybe Battlefield 3 is growing stale for you, or it's dry, you think the game's dead. Well, Battlefield 4 is right around the corner, guys, and it's good. A lot of the things that you see and observe in Battlefield 3 are going to translate directly to Battlefield 4. So now's a good time to be perfecting your gameplay and getting your tactics and your strategy down, getting your comfort level, and adapting your gameplay so you can be ready for Battlefield 4. And any experienced player, I'm first to say, I'm always evaluating my gameplay. I'm always adapting my tactics. I'm always changing my loadout. And I never have this game figured out. So what I'm always trying to do is understand circumstances and kind of do an introspective look at my personal gameplay and tactics and see where areas I can improve. Because I'll tell you right now, a lot of the guys I'm playing against are much better than me. And so as an older player, as a player that's less reliant on my personal aiming and reflex skills, I depend more on my wits, my strategies, observing the battlefield, formulating kind of an overall bird's eye view of what's going on, and trying to maintain a high degree of situational awareness to overcome the better shooting tactics of my enemy opponents. So that's what I'm trying to show you in some of these videos here. I'm going to show you a range of clips here. I'm just kind of getting warmed up here with some M60 gameplay on Epicenter. I'll move on to some Team Deathmatch and Operation Metro, and complete it too with some Conquest. I can't remember the name of the maps. It's eluding me right now. As you can see here, C4, it's a tactic I use a lot with support. And I use this as a tool to kind of enhance my ability for my lack of close quarters of engagement. Like, there's a perfect example, the FAMAS versus an M60 point blank range. Good luck. There ain't much you're going to do. But the C4 is a curveball here. And quickly there, I kind of capitalize on the bait and switch tactic there. It's a classic tactic I use where I kind of show myself just for a moment, just to kind of get that carrot and stick approach with the enemy. I try to get them to pursue me, and a lot of times I'll have a little treat there waiting for them in the form of C4, a nice little bundled package for them. A lot of people ask me if I prefer Claymores over C4. The answer is hell no. Claymores do give you the advantage not having to babysit the area in which you're about to or you're trying to cover. But the flexibility of C4, I think, is much more over Claymores. You can, obviously, the collateral damage effect of it. You can watch a mini-map a lot of times. I put the C4 down, I'll watch a mini-map, and then I'll detonate it based on the proximity of the player to the C4. So it gives you much more flexibility in that respect. So C4, in my eyes, is much more beneficial in much other ways. Obviously, you can take out vehicles as well. It's just a much more deadlier combination for support. It's something you really gotta get down. A lot of people kind of harp on it and think it's kind of a noobish piece of equipment, but I highly disagree with that. You know, use your equipment. That's what we got. We all can't be assault players, right? I mean, we have to branch out from assault, and this is a good example in this video too about how overpowered that class is. It gets way too many points. You'll see that here in the score at the end of this, where basically I get, this is just obviously team deathmatch, I get like 35 kills, and the second place guy gets, I think, 19, something like that. So I get nearly twice as many kills as the guy in team deathmatch that gets MVP, but I get second place because he was assault and he just survived a whole bunch of guys and got a bunch of points that way. Whereas I was actually changing my class throughout this gameplay. Actually was support at one point, so I was still getting ammo as an engineer class because I threw out a support crate. Stuff like that. So back to the gameplay here. Team deathmatch, of course, it doesn't really matter what game mode you're playing. It's all about, what is this guy doing on my team? I mean, what is this? I can't stand players that block your movements. It's all about trying to predict where the enemy's going to come from and cover that sector. Whenever I'm in the bus here, which is a position I've mentioned tactically is a great position to reduce your visual signature. But inside this bus, I can kind of cover this door alleyway. Watch that mini-map, see that guy come around the corner there? I saw him going in there, so I'm pretty much predicting the fact he's going to come right around there. There he is. I didn't see him there for a second. I looked back, picked him up there again the second time, and put him down. So watching those corners, a lot of a classic example I'll make people, and I should have put it in here, but I don't think I did, is when you see a clip of a person and they hide behind the corner, and then they feel compelled to come back and re-peek that corner even though you're covering that corner. Don't ever fall for that. Never, if somebody's got an angle on you, or if you know they're basically waiting for you to make that move, 9 times out of 10 they are, so don't fall victim to that urge, although we've all done it. But you notice there how I picked up this guy's kid, has killed him there again, but throughout that support ammo crate, as an engineer, and I picked up my engineer class again, and I got points from that throughout the match, so that's a great place to put a support ammo crate to get points regardless of your class. Little tactic there. A lot of times capitalizing on the over-aggressiveness of players, you can take advantage of that too in these circumstances here. They're flooding in the front door. Obviously I'm pretty much by myself here. I'm going to pull back, pretty much expect guys to pursue me, which they do. A lot of times these are knife trolls too, so it's kind of the experience can vary based on the caliber of players you're playing, but a lot of times when I'm getting into a game just in a public lobby, pretty much it's an even playing field at that point in time. You'll see gameplay from that coming up, and a good example of that in the last footage I'll show you here is this little kill streak wraps up here to get a little over aggressive myself, get out in the middle of the map, which is a classic example what not to do in these situations because you got too many angles to get exposure from. Again, SMAs, always just anything you can to do on this match to reduce the cover. It's really important to eliminate any chance you get. I think this clip will wrap up here in a moment, and let's see if I can move forward to what the next one is. Okay, it's Tehran Highway will be the next clips. But the overall topic and tactics about predicting the players' movements, it's not necessarily predicting them, it's basically they're reacting to you, so you're setting the tone of the match. In other words, if you're holding down a corridor, you basically are setting yourself up for a guaranteed flank. So you got to be aware and conscientious of alternate routes, because a team's not going to be foolish. If they're getting dropped left and right, if they're just seeing their team getting mowed down because you got a bipod up, you pretty much set yourself up for failure in the fact that you know the team's going to be exploring other avenues to come after your position, or get an alternate route to flank your position. So you want to be conscientious of what your weaknesses are. No position in this game is foolproof. There's always a counter to a position. There's always a dynamic to the game, and you set yourself up for it. And here's that score. Look at that. Go 35-9, and the guy that goes MVP doesn't get 20 kills. He's 19-5, and he gets more points than me. Again, classic example of how assault class is just way too many points on the revive. I recommend they have that or something in terms of the revive points. A kill should not count for as many points as a revive. And of course, we've all heard that before. So here in this example, I knifed that good player. He's a friend of my list there, and sorry, Dime, for knifing you, but a good example. I'll use him here as a classic example. I mean, this is a little bit campage here, but this is a classic example of what you can expect whenever you get a good player like that. If you knife somebody, good player or not, you piss them off, and they see the kill cam, they see where you're going. Don't fall for this. There's so many times people just get, I don't know if it's rage or if it's rage induced or what have you, but don't fall in that predictable category where you're gonna pursue that player that just knifed you down. We've all been guilty of it, and you're like, hell with that guy, I'm going right after him. I'm just gonna chase him down. I saw where he was in the kill cam. He's more often not, if it's a player like myself, I'm gonna capitalize on that predictability and try to tailor my tactics to get myself an angle, or you'll see a lot of times people laying down prone, what have you. Right here I'm taking fire. Pull back here, again, little bait and trap switch. Lure them in. Well, I've got 6% health here. There ain't much you can do other than try to stem their progress and eliminate that threat before it becomes a threat. Again, when players pursue other players, it's a tactic, and it's an observation I've made hundreds, if not thousands of times on the battlefield, is you don't pursue players. If you don't kill them, don't chase after them. The only way you're going to get that player is if you get an angle on him, you keep your distance, you peek the corner. But this won't go charging on, like I said in the knife example. Just don't go charging up after a player expecting to get that revenge knife back. Try to check your emotions at the door. A lot of times I know myself, and I'm guilty of it more than the average person. My raging is something I've been trying to prove on, but it's been a losing battle ever since I've been in first-person shooters. But I get worked up when I play these games. It's nothing serious or personal with anybody, but I just embarrassed myself so many times when I get really worked up in the gameplay, or somebody knifes me, or if somebody's doing really bad on the battlefield, I'll call them out on it. And again, trying to check your motion at the door is probably the best advice I can give to anybody in this game. Just as a general statement, try not to get yourself too emotionally involved in the game, or else it will affect your gameplay. But the topic again today, and the lesson that I want to drive home, is try to formulate strategies on the fly and try to get a plan in mind. That way you force your enemy. Did I just run by that guy? I didn't even see him next to me. Try to force your enemy into a set of circumstances or set of moves, or whether it be a loadout, what have you. Try to force them into something that you can analyze and predict. It's something all of us can do more of. It's not just all about Ramboing in there, trying to take out the team with 3 or 4 kills and being MVP. It's all Battlefield 3 is more than that. Battlefield 4 will be more of the same. So you want to kind of get yourself in that mindset of, how am I going to be a threat to this team and make my actions force them into reacting. And then by them reacting, you have the advantage in this game. It's kind of a complex topic. It's something I plan on mentioning at least once in most of my videos from now on, of course, in a Battlefield 4. So you can see here I'm drawing a lot of attention up to myself up here. I need to be aware and ready for guys to run up here, because I just happen to have two of them there at that point. Bring down the building. It's a lot of fun there with C4. But catch those guys off on a loop. Again, understanding the limitations of your weapon is very important. In this circumstance right here, this is pretty much the final clip. I'll wrap up here. See that tank rolling up here? Pretty much know the team's going to want to flank through this area, through the back part of the map. I didn't expect them to come through this quickly, but there you go. Again, about channeling the enemy's movements, predicting their thought process. That's how you gain the upper hand in this game, particularly when your weapon is weak and or vulnerable in a certain set of circumstances. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. It's a topic I'll try to discuss more in the future. Predicting your enemy's movements based on your own tactics. And remember, I can only show you the door, but you have to choose to walk through it. Thanks for watching, guys.